everyone. My name is Shevon Jones. I am a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of the Mental Wellness Collective, and my pronouns are she and her.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zion. I'm a junior psychology major at Fisk University, and my pronouns are she, her.
Zion, I am so excited that we are able to sit and have this conversation to talk about, building sisterhood and community, because it's really something that we don't talk about enough as women, but especially as Black women, something that needs to be talked about because our mental health is impacted when we don't have sisterhood, when we don't build sisterhood and community intentionally. So I am a licensed clinical social worker, as I mentioned before, and I've been in the mental health field for over 10 years. I've probably worked in every area of mental health. So if you name it, I probably have worked there because I love it. It's my passion. And on this journey, the Mental Wellness Collective was really designed as a way to build community. So it's a virtual therapy practice specifically for Black women and girls. And my main goal is to create community and sisterhood for women to understand that you are not by yourself, that you do not have to deal with problems or struggles by yourself, and that there are people who are willing to listen and to help you. Just a little backstory, when I was in college on this journey to become a therapist, I dealt with depression and I struggled for some time, but I never told anyone. I dealt with it by myself. I would go home at night and cry myself to sleep, and I would wake up in the morning and put on my happy face and go out and go to school and go to work. So everyone thought I had everything together. But little did they know that I was struggling. And so years later, as I was really trying to cultivate my business, I remembered that part of my story. And I wanted to create a collective, a community of women to be able to support each other, to listen, to offer support, but also where people could come and feel seen. So often I hear Black women, when they talk to me, they don't feel seen. Mm-hmm. So the Mental Wellness Collective is that platform where you can get therapy, you can find community and support, and really feel seen, that you don't have to deal with these struggles by yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I love that you brought up your experience with college, being a college student. I can definitely relate to that. So I carry a lot on me as a college student. I'm also an older sister, and I just, I want to be the best example for my younger sister. And I always want to show her that you can be strong, you can do anything you want to do, but it gets hard.
Yes, being a big sister can be a lot, for sure. Lots and lots on your plate. But I wanted to ask you, what does your support system look like? Who do you include in it? Because so often people wonder, like, who's a support? What does that look like? So who is in your support system, and what does that look like in the impact it has on your mental health?
Being here, I've made some very, very, very wonderful bonds and relationships with people that are now in my support system. And I just love having them with me because they relate to a lot of the same things that I am going through. Mm-hmm. And we help each other a lot. Just by talking to each other, being there for each other, being in the same space, and just creating a very comfortable environment for each other.
I love that because sometimes support doesn't look like what we think it should look like in our minds. And so being able to be open to that is super important. So let's talk a little about what makes a good support system. I want to hear about how you identify people who should be in that support for you.
So when I guess I wouldn't say that like my main goal is to seek a support system. I truly want, a good friendship or a good relationship with someone. And so when meeting someone and creating that bond, I just want to be able to be comfortable with them. I want to be able to take a walk with them, watch a movie with them, eat food with them. And I feel like doing those things creates that bond where you get to the support and where you get to serious conversations that you need to have. And when you have them with those people, they're people that know you for who you are just because they've seen you do everyday things or they've seen you talk about your passions, and it's easier for them to help you because you let your walls down, or you were vulnerable to them. So yeah.
Absolutely. You brought up such a good point. One of the key elements of a support system is the vulnerability. Being able to show up as your full self and be vulnerable and know that I'm not going to be judged, that the person who I'm sitting across from is going to listen to me and they're going to hear me out fully. And we may not always agree with each other, but I know that you have my best interest at heart. So it definitely sounds like you are well on your way to being able to have that support in that community and sisterhood that is needed. But vulnerability is top tier to be able to engage in that kind of conversations, for sure.
Yes. So how does self-expression in a community play a role when it comes to opening up in mental health?
A lot of times we are just looking for people who can accept us for who we are, but also maybe have similar experiences. What keeps us isolated kind of in our little boxes, or maybe even feeling like we can't express ourselves, is the fear of judgment. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we feel like we're by ourselves. Nobody else is dealing with this. Nobody else is depressed. Nobody else is dealing with anxiety. Nobody else on campus is struggling with making friends. And so when you are looking to build community, it's being open and saying, hey, it's not just you, it's me too. I'm struggling. I want to build connection. And so when you show up as your full self, it allows people to really connect with you and identify with you.
So what kind of other safe spaces would you recommend as far as students to seek out?
Absolutely. So on campus, there's so many opportunities to build community through clubs and organizations. I know that you are a part of some of those clubs and organizations, but also getting out of your comfort zone. Taking on a hobby that you probably maybe haven't taken on before, joining a team, maybe in your church. Maybe there's a group that you want to join, but you're not quite sure about. That's how you build community, when you are open to the experience of something new. Also, not even just looking for physical face-to-face connections, but virtually. I think COVID has shown us that the digital space is needed, because when the world shuts down, we need to be able to have spaces where we can still connect with other people. And so thinking outside of the box, how can I connect with people on campus, whether it is virtually or in person, a community forum? Finding those ways are perfect outlets, but also making sure they're safe spaces. And so when you create those safe and supportive spaces by really connecting with people who have common goals and interests, that maybe you weren't able to seek before.
Yes, I also feel like events like this also help, because in the virtual setting, you're not forced to go out, but it's like if you want to sit and listen, or there's an event that talks about something that you have been going through, you can easily log into there, at your own time, and you can stay in your own space and be able to really dive into the conversation.
Absolutely. And as we are really navigating this pandemic space, I really encourage women to seek out community in any way that you can, whatever it looks like, being open to unconventional spaces, putting yourself out there, connecting with people. I know that sometimes people are very introverted, so they don't want to fully put themselves out there, but I promise you, an extrovert is going to find you. If you just put yourself in the space, they will find you and bring you in. So being open to that experience is helpful too, for sure. Well, Zion, thank you so much for sitting and talking with me today. I know that it's going to help so many people, just having this conversation about building community and sisterhood and safe spaces, and how to really just connect with each other is really important, and especially in young adulthood, as we're all just trying to figure it out. We are just collectively we're all out here winging it. We really are. I think from college and beyond. And so really having the conversations about how do we wing it together? How do we figure it out in this thing called life? So thank you so much for sitting and speaking with me.